right, so we're on another episode of Wednesday Wisdom, and we're here with another special guest.
Hi guys, my name is Shane Ager. I'm the Western Midwest sales rep for ZoomEd. I live in Illinois. I'm in the office today talking about Molly Uromastyx, these little guys here. I've kept these guys for about 20 years at home personally. One of my favorite lizard species. Really like these guys because not only are they always usually really friendly like this, but they're pretty easy to keep as vegetarians. Not a whole lot of bugs, those kinds of things that I always have to be feeding them. So it's a nice easy one to be able to feed just a nice mix of vegetables. Natural desert dwellers, so they do like it dry. One of the key things with these guys though is they like it really hot. They can have their hot spot of about 125 degrees. They live out in the African and Middle Eastern deserts where that sun just bakes down on them in the middle of the day. So they'll come out for about an hour or two, soak up a bunch of that sun, get some real nice UV, and then be able to utilize that. But when they go back into their dens, they burrow down into a den and then stick this nice little spiky tail they've got at the back of that, at the opening of that den, and it works as their little defense, so nobody wants to mess with them. Uromastyx actually just means spiky tail, so it works out really well to defend themselves that way.
And so this is not full grown though. This is a young one. But...
Yeah, this is a young one that lives here in the office. Full size, my large male Uromastyx that I've got at home is about 15 inches. So she's got a nice big size. And then the males on these, they get a black body with yellow banding, yellow spots across them. So it's a real nice bold color, and that black body really helps them to soak up the sun.
But the females don't get that black body?
Usually not going to be nearly as bright. They'll have a little bit of that yellow, a little bit of that stripe, but not that black body. So I feed mine a mix of leafy vegetables. When I get a chance, I'll throw in a little bit of cactus, but it's usually things like collard greens, mustard greens, a little bit of kale and spinach to go in there as well. As a nice little extra treat, I like to do something a little bit crunchy, so they'll get some cucumber, some different cauliflower and broccoli, things like that. I've been keeping them for about 20 years. The big male I've got at home right now, I got him kind of as like a rescue, and I've had him for about 10 years now. I don't actively breed them right now. I'm just down to one male. I'd had a female in the past, but Molly Uromastyx aren't coming into the country very often anymore, and any of the females that do come around usually get snagged up pretty quickly, so really hoping there's more people that start breeding them and we can get some more captive bred ones out there. There's quite a few different species. Molly Uromastyx 20 years ago were the main species that people saw. Now mostly what people are seeing are the Saharan or the Nigerian Uromastyx. You'll see ocellateds, ornates, a couple other different species around there, but again, not enough people breeding most of them. Looking to see more of that happening. So I'm always a guy that I've always liked lizards, and I've always been drawn to things that are vegetarian. I feed enough bugs around my house, so the more things that I can get that aren't eating bugs. My wife's not always a big fan of them, so the more things I can get that'll eat vegetables, the more things that I'll like.
And like when a cricket escapes, it's just a pest for the rest of.
Exactly. My wife never lets me hear the last of it when a bug's running around the house. So the vegetables are real nice and easy for that. Yeah, so generally you're going to want a higher UVB with them. On a UV index, we're usually looking about a 3 to 4 on a UV index with these guys because they really want to come on, they want to bask, and they want to absorb a lot of that. I keep mine in a 40 breeder with a lot of hiding spots. They're natural burrowers, so having that long space isn't as much as important as having plenty of places to burrow and hide and get away. So in that 40 breeder that I have 3 different spots for them to be able to hide, creating 3 different zones. Definitely having a warm spot, or that hot spot, of about 125 down to the poolside hiding area is about 80 degrees. But then also providing plenty of basking spots using one of our power sun bulbs just makes it real nice and easy to keep them that way. Most of them, in my experience, are going to be about full size, right around about 5 to 6 years old.
Okay. Because I think this little guy is about a year old, maybe.
Yep, and when these guys, they grow real slowly. When they hatch, it'd be about half this size, if not a little bit smaller. Definitely a slower grower. When you're not eating a whole lot of protein, you're usually going to be a little bit slower on the growth. Being a vegetable eater, got to keep up on cleaning that bedding, otherwise it will start to smell pretty quickly on it. But you just want to make sure that you do your general maintenance that way. They don't like it humid, so it's not one I usually recommend getting a bath to. Otherwise you can end up with some bacterial infections and things from being too humid with them. So again, keeps it pretty easy that way that they don't need a few of those extra things. So I try to go with things that are a little bit drier, get the leafy green so that they can get plenty of moisture out of it. Like I said, naturally they're going to eat some cactus and some of those flowering things like that. So flower toppers work really well with these guys, and then the cactus is definitely a good little addition for them. Other interesting things that I've learned about these guys. A few years ago, I got to attend one of the International Herp Symposiums, and there was somebody giving a natural history presentation on them and talking about kind of the way that they burrow and hide and all that. But one of the common things that people try to feed these guys in captivity is a lot of like lentils and seeds and such. But there's no natural history documentation of that. It's not something they naturally do. They're not finding a lot of seeds. So it's something that I think a lot of people worry about, but it's not usually as necessary. So it's one of those things, you know, keep it a little bit easier if you don't have to.
This is not a full coverage of Uromastyx care in depth, but if you guys have questions for Shane, leave them in the comments below. So thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you.